and I asked him what it was like. And he said, well, it's quite a surprising aeroplane. He said, it looks like you can't see out of it, but in fact the view out is...
One of the weird things about the Canon engine was that if you throttled it back, then you got this really alarming bright red exhaust plate and a loud popping noise that sounded audible when the engine was about to depart from the fuselage. Here's a bit of that there. And one of the flying instructors was Josh Apple.
Posted it up on before.
It's a full-foot designer of the mk2. Yeah, that's quite a amazing bit of kit. Apparently we have a slight attack of the quiet. That better. Well, I will give it a go.
My colleague Tim.
Well, as I was saying before, rudely interrupted by the dreaded dead microphone. mk2, head of the design bureau, put this aeroplane together. Biplane design, after the Oscar and the mk2.
It was a little pilot bloke who was sat next over to us.
Right, talk about a jack of all trades. Night bomber, night fighter, trainer, crop duster. A standing aeroplane.
Pilot bloke as well. Most of them actually.
Again, full power at a very high speed, Australia P11. Painted as an aircraft from 15 Squadron. Marvellous Rolls-Royce plane. The better to operate the gun. Ladies and gentlemen, and front of the cockpit. And if the temperature of the radiator is the fixed radiator also underneath, there's a fixed oil radiator. And you can just see the oil radiator.
today, we'll overlook that. So first of all, you see being walked out by a couple of very daring wing.
It's looking good now, but don't touch the wheels. No, he's through, it's okay. But is she going to get through? Yes, she does. The tail just skims in the Total Supercar. And Claire in the Chipmunk. Out of the aircraft that you see flying in front of you at the moment, 2 of those aircraft were actually purchased by the Shuttleworth Veteran Aerospace Society, the SAS. Now you would like £25, which will give you a year of benefits, including reduced price entry on Echo Day, 2 entry on Holiday Day, magnificent magazine, Pop Quiz, where you get brilliant articles from the pilots on what it's like to fly the aircraft. So it's all well worth joining, you support the collection, and you get an awful lot of benefits as well. Over the £1 million to the collection to keep these aircraft flying. And a lot of the people you see out
Basically means you put 300 horse in a Mini. Now you imagine what a Mini is going to go like with a 300 horsepower engine in the front. You have exactly the right idea, because that's what this aeroplane flies like. As you can see, just under 10G going around an outside room there.
Battery's down to about 20%.
Fantastic aeroplane. When you go to the factory, they built a place called Dingslocken in Germany by a man called Walter Extra. Spin. Nicely done. Believe it or not, the skin on the tailplane is 0.6 of a millimetre thick. And when you're using it, brand new Extra at the factory, Walter Extra is 16G, and that was in a medical centrifuge. So it's very comforting that by that as Chris goes into a single turn of a knife-edge flick there. Well, almost a knife-edge spin there. I'm just going to say that what you'll watch Blackburn B2, also a training aircraft designed for the Royal Air Force. Now the first of these aircraft, the Parnell Elf, came from 1929. Truss arrangement of interplane struts. The reason for that was that in those days you wanted to prop the wings of an aircraft to get it inside a shed or through a farm gate. You didn't need to do that, so it's designed that way. However, it made it a fairly ungainly look. And the hangar was on the front of a submarine, believe it or not, the M3 there. And it's on the left. And unfortunately, the M3 went down, and as submarines sometimes do, it would come back up again. Somewhere on the seabed, onto the southwest of Cornwall. So the only Parnell Pitot was lost, the idea being that. So Parnell aircraft really responsible for some very unusual flying machines. I know it wasn't as successful as others, but I do like the Elf. There's something for it, all of them probably. In the same era. We do have a bit of a treat instead, because we're going to have the Gladiator. I'm going to see the Gladiator fly today, which is always a pleasure. Oh, same engine, he said. Sorry, I thought he was trying to tell me he'd said that already. The famous displays you get with the. Royal Air Force were moving into the jet age in the 1950s when this aircraft was performing as an
You look
amateur
as if you're a
trainer.
short-sighted photographer.
And, my own flying training was on the jet promised.
It's fine when they've got me in that.
Reliable. Ended up in a huge number of different aeroplanes. Just
Chris, touch up and flying it today. Pull back the canopy. And we now launch the streamer. There we go. And today we have a very spectacular orange streamer. Or loo roll, as it's sometimes known. Now Chris is now sort of like... Now here he comes. And he's missed it completely. I'm sure he's probably just sighting it. And he hasn't lost sight of it. It is straight in front of us, but he's... And there's one, cutting off a few sheets from the bottom. Now coming tightly round again. The Chipmunk is very well suited to the ribbon cut because it is so manoeuvrable. Swings it round again, and there's another one, the wing just slicing through. And now the last sheets just sort of like gather together and disappear back down.
It's dropping high quite quickly. Too quickly for Chris's liking, I suspect. In a moment, I suspect you might see a fire engine go out there and retrieve that. They'll then have the wonderful job of winding it all back up again to use it for another time. Oh no, he's got a cut on it. Well done, Chris, just before it gets too low. And deposits itself across the airfield and in the hedge.
a wonderful aeroplane to fly because it's plenty manoeuvrable. There are 4 ailerons, 1 on each wing. And what a contrast also with the Merlin. Actually, as an engine, it's very marks. So it had a sort of circulation within a circulation of oil in the engine. So you can actually take off and take full power out of it fairly soon after you'd started it. Some of the engines we have need long warm-up times on the ground, not so the Gladiator. Victories that Pavel didn't claim, giving them to younger pilots in his squadron to give them confidence and experience. 4 303 machine guns, 2 mounted in the sides of the fuselage, firing through in between 2 of the engine cylinders, one on either side, and 2 mounted in blisters under the lower wing. But there was perhaps the most famous exploit of the Gladiator was the defence of Malta, and there was one Gladiator on Malta which was rearmed. He's in this guise apparently. We saw him landing back at Takali on Malta as he took. Well, shortly after the Gladiators came in service, 37 Hendon Air Pageant, another famous fighter pilot. And our old the sharp-eyed amongst you will see them there in that head-on shot there. You can see the flaps down.
See a
There we are, the wonderful survivor of the last of Britain's biplane fighters, the Gloucester Gladiator, and that, ladies and gentlemen, finishes our show for today. Little windswept, I must say.
And whatever you do, please drive safely home. We want to see you again. And if you see an old man on a bicycle wearily pedalling his way towards Milton Keynes, do be kind to him. It might be me. So, ladies and gentlemen, many thanks to fantastic finding playing here today. And bravo, I'm sure to all of you for staying out in such inclement weather. Strange how it got warm and it's gone on cold again. Hopefully it should improve, as George said, for next Saturday. Looking forward to another